It's hard to say how the trends are different from the way life is going. I guess we are going to try and be more efficient. It's important to make sure that the way we spend our money, where we spend it, how we talk to our consumers becomes efficient. The second thing is I think the consumer is becoming really savvy, and we can't really talk about advertising without entertainment. So one of the very important things that we'll have to continue doing is engage with the consumers, go where they are, go into the digital space, go into the online space. And I think we're all trying to do that already. So I see the trends continuing from before. One of the critical trends, of course, is using the mobile medium as an advertising or a marketing medium, and I think that's just going to become even more important, given the fact that it's not just becoming a medium of communication, it's becoming a medium of entertainment, of making your dead time come alive. People are best friends with their phones. So we just have to make sure that we find a way of getting into that time in a more entertaining, engaging way. This entire growth in spends on the digital medium is dependent on the growth of the digital medium itself. So across the world, where the digital medium or the online medium reaches 80-90% of the audience, in India we're still at 10% penetration of the internet. So I don't think you're ever going to see the spends of a marketeer being more than 10%, because then you're not going to get more than 10% of your audience. So I think it's really important to make sure that you're efficient. Also, I think the digital medium is more efficient as a medium. So you are able to get a greater bang for your buck, sharp shoot your target audience, make sure you talk to them, engage with them, and you even have the permission to engage with them due to social media.
That's right.
And it's much easier to do that in the digital medium. And because it's more efficient, I guess you can afford to spend lesser money on it. Vodafone has always been a very large participant. One of our beliefs on the digital medium is that we take permission from the consumer to engage with them in their lives. I mean, we're more than 8 million fans on Facebook, and we're hoping that that forms a really large base whom we keep engaging, entertaining. We're the most engaging brand on Twitter and on Facebook. So we're going to continue doing that and make sure that our consumer likes to talk to us, and it's not an intrusive advertising, but it's just engagement and entertainment, and then we give our message.
I think there are a couple of trends which are visible. I think the digital trend has been an ongoing trend, but it's accelerating. So I think that's something which is very visible. I think the other interesting thing I would say is really the homogeneity of consumers. Thanks to cinema, thanks to media, I think the kind of communication that you put out, earlier we used to think that if you did something for urban India it won't work in rural, and if you did something for rural it doesn't work in urban. I think there's a lot more homogeneity. You can really do good universal work because consumers are getting more homogeneous.
I think it's going to get only tougher from here, because digitalization coming in is a real boon to the industry. It's a boon to the consumer, but I think consumer choice is going to become even more pronounced. The consumer is going to have, north of 300 channels that she can choose from, and the traditional benefits of reach will now get neutralized. So what will really make the difference in the future is content and marketing.
Insurance is a category which is actually a must for every person on whom family or friends depend, and therefore the potential is just unlimited. They have to grow, and they will grow in percentage terms, but I'm looking forward to the day when they grow in absolute terms too.
See, I think one is, from a market development perspective, I think we still have a lot of opportunity in larger towns to really build consumption opportunities across, most of our categories. And equally in, I'd say, as you go down deep into rural, it's really about driving relevance for your categories so that people start coming into these categories and buying them.
Okay, as such 2013, it will not be right to say, but let's say a couple of years. I think emergence of Gen Y. We are talking to a generation Y which spends more time on Facebook than face to face. This is a very dichotomous generation which in the evening will go with their grandmother to a temple, morning, and evening they will go with a girlfriend to disc. This is a generation which works hard and parties hard. And the language they talk is very different. So as a marketeer, to know that is a challenge. I'm not going to challenge of economy, which is okay.
We have lots of plans for 2013. We certainly feel that two-wheelers have a lot of potential, because if you look at the penetration of two-wheelers certainly very low in rural India, but also not very high in urban India. And therefore, certainly there is scope for a lot of exciting action. We certainly are trying to bring out new products. We have various technology tie-ups that we've entered into over last year or so. We are working on various exciting products. We are going global. We are going into several new markets in the world. We are developing our own R&D. So expect a lot of exciting action from Hero going forward. The thing is that traditional media will continue to play an important role as we go forward. So there are things happening, there are changes happening, but if I look at immediate near-term future, certainly the traditional media like your television, radio, print will continue, outdoor will continue to play an important role. However, digital will become far more important than it has ever been. It will be important for marketers to really carve out budgets to do justice to that digital space. You cannot do it as a secondary activity. You will have to look at it as an activity in its own right, integrated into your brand stories, integrated into your marketing thinking. So you'll see a lot of digital, not only in terms of internet, but also mobile, in terms of social media. You will see a lot of action as we go forward.
One or two things. One, I think, is at least in the service industry, customer recommendation or advocacy is becoming globally important, and I'm sure in India also it will start becoming more and more important. So advocacy means actually you'll have to deliver on the ground and get the satisfaction of the customer. If that happens, then you will get advocacy from them. So that's one big thing. Second is a related point, but slightly different, is that we all know online is becoming important. But recommendations online, comparisons online that customers do will become very important for brands and marketeers, because if you fail there, you will have customers going to other brands.